On today's Locked On Nationals, I'm going to tell you why David Peterson is the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. Yeah, you heard that right.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version over on YouTube. Again, just look up Locked On Nationals. And later on in the show today, we have got a preview with the Washington Nationals trying to avoid a sweep in Queens with the New York Mets. It's going to be pretty tough because you have Kodai Senga going up against the Washington Nationals today. We'll have that preview for you in the third segment. And in the second segment, the Nationals have a ton of injuries from the Major League level all the way down to the lower levels of minor league baseball within this org. I'm going to get you caught up on all the injury reports because we haven't really gotten to discuss it too much, but you've got a lot of big names out there who, number one, they've been hurt, but they're also coming back, and some guys who could be back relatively soon. So we'll have that discussion for you in the second segment, kind of get into a timeline for some of these pitchers who might be making the jump to Major League Baseball maybe within the next few weeks. We'll have that for you later on in the show today, but I got to tell you guys, David Peterson is the best pitcher in all of baseball. Did you watch him last night against the Washington Nationals? Let's talk about that, but today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And I can tell you this, the smart thing to do, if you're on FanDuel in last night's game, was to bet on David Peterson having a complete game shutout the first time in his career. If you were watching baseball for the first time yesterday's game, David Peterson is the best baseball player on this planet. But I'm here to tell you, of course I'm kidding. Of course. This Nats offense yesterday was abysmal. It was awful. It was terrible. Everything that was bad, that's what it was. Ricky Gutierrez, what are we doing? Sending Luis Garcia Jr. home on that play there later on in the game. What are we doing? This is now a couple of times in the last few weeks that we have had some pretty questionable sends, and those are the mistakes that you cannot make. You have to control the things that you can control. And in that situation, that did not happen. But nevertheless, it was 5-0. So at the end of the day, be aggressive, I guess. Be aggressive. But even then, you never know with this Nationals team. When they are down 5-0, you could maybe make a case for them not being down and out. This team has the nickname the Scrappy Nats for a reason. And that reason is because they are never down and out. And so when you see that in the ninth inning of not a close ball game at that point, but in the ninth inning, what are we doing with one out? Sending Luis Garcia Jr., which, by the way, I thought he probably should have been in there. It's not like it was that far away, but the optics of it, guys. It's bad. It's a bad look. When this Nats offense is struggling to score runs, and you are sending one of your slowest players, by the way, with Luis Garcia, it's just not the best of looks. You have to know your players. You have to know the situation. You cannot make your second out at home there in that situation for the Washington Nationals. You cannot do that. And that is what happened. Yesterday was, what do I even say? What do you say? 5-0. The Nats offense, yet again, not producing any runs. 6 hits yesterday. 5 of them were singles. Lack of power. Check. Lack of extra base hits? Check. The Nats offense in a slump? Check. What do you do at this moment? What do you say? What do you tell yourself at night before you go to bed? Genuinely. Do you think to yourself, this is an okay result? No. Do you think to yourself, the sky is falling? Not really. But can you say that this is frustrating? Absolutely. Can you say that this is unacceptable? Yes. Can you say that maybe this is just what happens when it's a long baseball season? Sure. But this Nats team, I don't think I've ever been on a roller coaster like this Nationals team. I genuinely do not think so. I think 2021 was pretty close because the Nationals, I believe, were 2 games above 500 in the month of June that season. They were right there in the wild card race. In fact, I think they were first in the NL East at one point that season. That was a roller coaster, and we all know how it ended. You trade away Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, and that season blew up. But this season, Mike Rizzo, Davey Martinez, they said enough of the rebuild, enough of it. We're ready to win. And at times, like 2 weeks ago, I was saying to myself, this team is ready to win. You see James Wood clicking on all cylinders. You see CJ Abrams putting up all-star numbers. You see this pitching staff and the starting pitching staff going all out every single day. You see the bullpen improving and all of these young pieces that are coming along with it. You see Robert Hassel III come up and show some flashes. You have seen Dalen Lyle. You have seen why the Nationals went through this rebuild. And then at times like this and times like yesterday, you sit back in your chair and you have a slice of that humble pie. And it just comes crashing down. Is this part of the rebuild process when you go through these struggles? Because this Nats offense, it's been abysmal the last 9 games. 15 runs over their last 9 games. The Yankees scored 15 runs like 2 nights ago. They do that every single night. And yeah, we aren't the Yankees. I understand that. We don't have Aaron Judge, the best hitter on this planet. We're not the New York Mets. The New York Mets are a loaded team. They are supposed to be they're supposed to be good like they are now. Simple as that. And with the way that the Nationals are playing, that's the part that drives me insane. They do have the talent. That's the frustrating part, is that I see that they can be a good, solid team. I don't know how good they can be. Are they a postseason team at this point? I don't think they have the talent to, but I do believe they have the talent to be in that conversation. And yes, they still technically are in that conversation. It's June 12th after all, guys. You're going up against the Mets. You're going to lose against good teams. That's just how it is. But the offense and the lack of production, and all season long we have talked about this team is so good with runners in scoring position when it matters. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Why should I come in here and break it down? There was nothing to break down. I think yesterday might have been one of the most frustrating losses for me yet. And this was 2 nights ago. We were talking about a walk-off in which the Nationals had a 4-2 lead in the 8th inning. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about David Peterson shoving against the Washington Nationals. 5-0. Complete game shutout. First of his career. David Peterson is a good player. He's a good player. But a complete game shutout good? That good? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So yeah, David Peterson had his night. He's a good player. But the Nationals more so lost that game yesterday than the Mets winning that. And if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Peterson is a fine baseball player. He is a good player. He's having an awesome renaissance year for the New York Mets. But he ain't that good. He's just not. It's simple as that. He's not that good. And which, by the way, does it sting, Nats fans, When to see Juan Soto back-to-back nights just pimp home runs off you to really just blow the game open. Because when the Nationals went down 3-0 yesterday, I kind of said, well, that's going to be it. Because the Nationals cannot hit left-handed pitching. They cannot. And in David Martinez's case, it's just the way that the roster is constructed. Your best hitters are lefty. And when you go up against left-handed pitchers, you're going to get got. The Nationals, they got. Our left-handed hitters yesterday. C.J. Abrams, 0 for 4. James Wood, 2 for 4. Good for him. Nathaniel Lowe, 0 for 3. Luis Garcia Jr. had 2 hits also. Not bad. Outside of that, really no more production. Only 6 hits as a team. 6 strikeouts in yesterday's contest. Meanwhile, the Mets, they only had 7 hits, but still, they batted around. They got their extra base hits. They hit their home runs. Juan Soto, Brandon Nimmo, and of course, just Brandon Nimmo yet again. That's where we are. Last night may have been one of the most frustrating losses because it's not like the Mets are good. Let me just say that. The Mets are a very good team. But it's just frustrating. It just is. I forgot how frustrating a rebuild is. And I'm so silly to think last week I was talking about this rebuild might be over if they beat the Chicago Cubs. We might be here. We might be ready to contend. I still think there's a possibility of it. But with where the Nationals are right now and where their numbers are, yeah, their home run numbers are up from the last few years because it was dead last. So yeah, it has to be up. Sometimes it sucks to be a baseball fan because the beauty of baseball is you get 162 of these things. But also the downside of baseball is sometimes if you're a Rockies fan out there, you got to watch your team every single night. And when your team's not playing well, there's nothing on this planet that frustrates me more than watching a bad product. Nothing. Last night, the Washington Nationals, they were a bad product. From the lack of offense, from Ricky Gutierrez sending Garcia to home plate in a pretty bad situation there. Malpractice. No. Wrong. That's where we are. And you know what? I'm glad I got to vent there because there really wasn't breaking anything down. But I'm with you guys. These losses suck. When you're losing against the Mets, a team that you used to own back in the day, and seeing them own you the way that they have these past few seasons, it sucks. Seeing Juan Soto hitting home runs against your favorite team, someone he won a World Series here, it sucks. This sucks. That's it. So, you know what? The Nationals, they get back at it today, 1 o'clock. I'll be there watching it. I'll watch all 9 innings, and we'll see if the guys can kind of rally and get some things going because you're not out of it yet. Let's try to avoid the sweep today. It's a 110 first pitch with Michael Soroka, who's been pretty solid the last few starts, in my opinion. But let's see if he can keep that ball in the yard because Juan Soto, he's gone deep in back-to-back games. So I think that'll be interesting to see regardless. But thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And next, let's talk about some Nats injuries because this has been one of those things where the Nats have been bitten by the injury bug in the past. You have Paul DeYoung updates. You got Cade Cavalli, Josiah Gray, and a couple other minor leaguers who kind of gone MIA. We'll discuss that after we tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. And the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get on the action than now. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Tomorrow is Game 4 of the NBA Finals. I have always got Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers back because that team, they find a way in clutch time. So, of course, I've got the Pacers on the money line in tomorrow's game. I've also got the under. I've been seeing that is the latest trend on FanDuel that they have been hitting the under. So, I'd probably go with the under with FanDuel. And, of course, Pascal Siakam over on the rebounds. That always hits. So are you new to FanDuel? Well, if you are, it's a perfect time to sign up and head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. And if it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, I'm sorry. I got carried away that last segment. I went like 14 minutes. I'm sorry to my bosses out there. Didn't really get to break down too much. It was just kind of venting. We were venting together. We had to settle things out, and I think we did. We got that out of our chest. It's frustrating, but you know what? Let's get into some injury reports because this is something that we have not necessarily talked about too much. But Paul DeJong coming back when he broke his nose. I don't know if people have seen the picture since then. But his face, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but seriously, it looks like you're recovering from a boxing match. And this is nearly 2 months after the injury. Paul DeJong has been seen taking some BP. I would expect him to return in the next few weeks here and start some rehab assignments maybe soon. And I think he'll be back in the lineup maybe, unless it's up to Brady House. And I don't really know what the next step will be for Paul DeJong, but I could see the Nationals giving you an opportunity to play third base again. So I just want to get that out of the way. But Cade Cavalli, this is someone I want to talk about right now. Cade Cavalli, so far in AAA, he is dominating the game. His fastball is now back up to 97, 98 miles per hour. And the time is now for the Washington Nationals. You have to strike when the iron is hot. And the 26-year-old, he is ready to get back in Major League Baseball because so far in the season with AAA Rochester, he has got a 3.81 ERA and 7 starts, 28 and a third innings pitched, 34 strikeouts, and only 10 walks so far. Now, the walk part of it, he is walking nearly 3 batters per 9 innings, but also striking out nearly 11 batters per 9 innings. The stud who had Tommy John back in 2023, let's get him back out there. Let's get him back in this rotation. We have talked about Trevor Williams and the possible roster moves that could come from it. We need to see this guy up in the majors because, number one, we're just wasting service time for him at this point. And number two, he belongs. He is a top 5 starter in this Nationals organization from major leagues all the way down to low A. This guy belongs, and he needs to be in this rotation pronto. So I'm looking at Cade Cavalli right now. He seems to be healthy. He's gotten some good quality innings under his belt. I would expect him to go out there maybe 2 more times, and then you'll find him in the rotation at some point. I think the Nationals are really just looking for someone out there like a Trevor Williams or someone of that nature, whether it be Mitchell Parker, to pitch themselves out of the rotation at this point. And that's when you come in with Cade Cavalli. And I think the Nationals, they're going to be in a good spot to bring him up and have him make his second major league appearance so far. Because back in 2022, he got rocked against the Cincinnati Reds. I don't think it's going to be that easy this time around going up against him. So Cade Cavalli, one of your injury updates there. And also I got another one from another guy recovering from Tommy John, Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray was seen at Nationals Park a few days ago. You've seen him a couple times this season. He is right now throwing 30-pitch bullpens, all fastballs, and he even acknowledged that his goal is to pitch in the major leagues this season. I don't know if that's attainable at this point, but I will say this. Josiah Gray is one of the hardest working major leaguers that you will see. I'm not going to hold him back and say, well, he's not going to pitch this year because look at the recovery timeline. The Nationals have always kind of gone the easier side of things with rehab. They don't really rush guys, and really there's no point to it this time because at the end of the day, probably not going to happen. Just with how this organization is right now, You'll have Cade Cavalli in the rotation. You'll have Mitchell Parker. You'll have obviously all of the other guys, if it's Trevor Williams in the bullpen, or we'll see what happens. But right now, the Nationals rotation, it's loaded. So Josiah Gray, he's going to continue to rehab, and I don't necessarily see him making his way up to the majors this season. But again, you never know. You never know with these injuries. He could recover real quick and be back in maybe 2-3 months at this point in time for the stretch run for Nationals baseball. So we'll see what Josiah Gray happens. But a couple guys down in the minors, one guy in the top 100 list, one of your top prospects in the organization, Harleen Susana. He was on the IL back around a month ago with an elbow injury. We still have not heard any updates on this at this point in time. So I'm not going to speculate, but I think this might be a little bit of a longer term injury than what we think. And it's not that I'm like, oh, he's going to get Tommy John. No one is saying he's going to have any serious injury. But when things tend to go quiet like this with minor league prospects and you don't really hear updates, you don't necessarily know what's going on, it kind of makes you worry a little bit. And it's not to say that I'm worried for his career or whatever it is, but the flame-throwing 6'7", just huge human, throwing 99 to 103 mile per hour fastballs, having an elbow injury, it's concerning. And the way that his mechanics are, seeing them alone, that is pretty concerning. One more injury update for you. Jake Bennett, the second-round pick back in 2022 out of the University of Oklahoma. He has not pitched since May 11th. He is recovering from Tommy John back in 2023. And Jake Bennett missed all of last season. And he is now in High A Wilmington. And he has not pitched again since May 11th. I don't know what the case is. I don't know if they're just shutting him down for now. I don't know if he was injured. But again, it's been over a month now. And I have not heard or read anything about Jake Bennett. Have the Nationals shut him down? Have the Nationals just had another injury? We don't know at this point in time, so I don't want to speculate. But I will say this. When Jake Bennett was hurt back in 2023, the Nationals never said anything until he had Tommy John surgery. I'm not saying that's the case here. All I'm saying is we have yet to hear about what's up with Jake Bennett. Are they just giving him some rest for the last month or so? Do they want to see him rehab again? We don't know at this point. So I think it's unfair to speculate on what could possibly be happening, but it's something of note. So yeah, the Nationals have got some injuries, particularly with their pitchers, and of course Paul DeJong as well. We'll see if he can get back in the lineup over the next few weeks or maybe the next month or so. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen. Next, let's preview Game 3 of this Mets-Nats series. The Nationals try to avoid the sweep, but before that, I'll tell you guys about our friends at Gametime. And have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. And that's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it all possible. And Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you go to first pitch. For instance, I always walk up Half Street right there to the center field gate. I open up Gametime. I'll find my Flash Zone deal. I'll get the views from my seats on my phone so I can see if there's any obstruction. And just, of course, be able to live that baseball experience from my phone. And, of course, Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals for those big savings, so you will always want to keep an eye on Gametime and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, The Nationals, they try to avoid the sweep today with Michael Soroka going up against Kodai Senga, who has been a stud and a star for the New York Mets so far this season. The 32-year-old was signed out of Japan a few seasons ago. And at that point in time, people always knew that he was going to be a really good pitcher, but I don't think they thought that he would be this good. And he is a legit star at this point for the New York Mets. A 1.59 ERA over his first 12 starts of the season, 68 innings pitched, only 50 hits given up, and also only 4 home runs. That is a really impressive stat to go 68 innings pitched as a starter for the New York Mets and only give up 4 home runs, going up against really potent offenses, by the way. And it's not like this guy is some big strikeout pitcher. He has only struck out 65 batters in 68 innings so far this season, but he has kept his whip down to a 1.18. The batting average against around a 2.06, right where it was his rookie season in 2023, where he put up sub-3 ERA. So the New York Mets, they have found something with Kodai Senga. Again, really good pitcher. We all knew that coming from Japan, but I don't think anyone thought that he would be this good for the Mets, and he has been awesome. Michael Soroka, on the other hand, I think he has been really good. He has been one of my pleasant surprises so far this season, and he is coming off by far and away his best start of the season against the Texas Rangers. 6 innings pitched, only 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk. The key for Soroka recently is, number one, he's given up a lot of home runs. Before this previous start, he gave up home runs in 4 straight starts, 2 of those actually being only one of them being a multi-home run game. And Soroka, he has been good. He has been controlling the zone. He has not been walking a lot of batters. And really over his last 5 or 6 starts, he has like 6 walks. That's pretty good for someone who has not been pitching every 5 days for the past few seasons. So Michael Soroka today going up against a solid offense with the New York Mets. We'll see how it fares, but the ball tends to fly on a day game at Citi Field. And that's the part that kind of scares me with Juan Soto in that lineup. Brandon Nimmo, you saw the damage that he could do in yesterday's ball game, but it's all up to the Nats offense because Soroka is probably not going to go 6 innings shutout baseball. He's good, but the Mets, they know him. He was with the NL East for quite some time. Pete Alonso knows him. Juan Soto with the Nationals, he knows Michael Soroka. The Mets offense, they know how to attack Soroka. And that's a part that kind of scares me just a little bit. But thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen. We'll see if the Nationals can avoid the sweep. But until then, have a good one. Go Nats.